going on, driver? I'm gonna try to make another quick video. So, if you hold on a sec. Alright. Now, if you put me as your dispatcher, what do I do? I try to find out what it is you need. So let's say if you're $2 a mile, depending on whatever equipment you may be pulling. I know this heavy haul, they they get paid good regardless. I mean, I don't see how, I've never came across anybody that ever argue with the heavy haul for what they want. But, let's get back to the basics. Dry van, reefer, flatbed, 48, 53. Now, let's just say you $2 a mile. The idea is to be coordinated how you would coordinate. But then if I can see things that are even more for, or even that $10 run, I'll try to get those loads. And I try to book it to where, you're going where you go, whatever that load is taking you. And hopefully it can be one of those short mile runs when we can find them. But it's a load that's paying well, that makes it profitable for your truck going to another state. And it's able to bring you back out with another load. Now, ideally, when you start to drop your first load, I try to see where you are on the map, what it may look like. I try to put that time in there, if they're going to hold you for 2 hours, just in case. And make sure that when you got time, so if the shipper does try to hold you up, you still got time to pick up that next load. And with good communication, then we'll know if it's able to be done the same day or the next day. But I try to see that where you are, and at the same time also when I try to book that next load, I try to make it make sense. So your deadhead, try to make sure that is, if we can keep it small, we'll go for that. But then let's try to make sure you actually going in the direction of where the load is going. So you ain't just doing no back tracking, say on the same highway. Let's just say I-70. I'm just going to throw that out there. You're on I-70. And you go 75 miles backwards to go pick up the load. And then the direction it's going, it's still going to push you all the way up on the same road where you passed the facility where you dropped off from, and go in that direction. But I mean, yeah, I guess if it pays good, I guess you can backhaul like that or go backwards, take a loss of yardage. But ideally, I'm just in an organized sense. I always try to make it where when you do deadhead, you're actually going the direction of where the load is gonna be dropping. So it's just, you're still breaking down the miles and just making a side pickup to pick up that load and then make it to that next location. And then if possible, depending how, what kind of driver you may be, I try to make sure it's at least a 1-and-1 drop. Those seem pretty good, pretty easy. If we can keep the truck light, that's always a win. But if it's going to be heavy, we just want to make sure that it makes sense, that it's beneficial to you, so you still making profit one way or the other. So that's the idea as your dispatcher. Now, while I'm even making these contact calls, and anytime I get in contact with any other a broker that gives good connection, I'm going to keep track of that broker. I build that relationship. So, not all the time we always have to use the load board. But I would still do both, just because I'm always trying to expand, find that extra opportunity. So, but yeah. Now, if there's anything else, as far as we're even doing the PODs, I can also load that up to your factoring company as well. So it's just trying to, let's try to get that trust factor, that communication. Because once we can just communicate, conversation is just gonna be awesome. I mean, you can just call when you need to, or if there ain't any questions or anything that I can do on my end to where you can focus on the road or worry about the truck or, do what you need to do. Other than that, yeah, that's about it for now, driver. So, you know where to find me. Have a good day, driver.